Hello and welcome to Donington Park for the latest round of the Britcover BRSCC National Formula Ford Championship with Avon Tyres. Last time out at a fast Kirkistown circuit we saw some great wheel-to-wheel action. This time we've got 36 cars on the grid, so it should be something special. So I'll hand you over to our race commentator Scott Woodwiss to take you through the action.
Thanks, Anthony. Here's the grid for race 1 at Donington Park with Jordan Dempsey and James Rowe Jr. on the front row again. Stephen Daly back in the championship in third alongside Josh Smith. Then Jamie Thorburn and Luke Cooper ahead of Neil McLennan and Jack Wolfenden on row 4. Row 5 sees Luke Williams and Josh Fisher ahead of Keith Donegan and Ross Martin. David MacArthur and Michael Eastwell on row 7 ahead of John Ferguson and James Scott Murphy on row 8. Row 9 sees Sebastian Melrose line up alongside Rory Smith, Thomas Capazone and Felix Fisher on row 10. Row 11 is Vincent Jay and David Cobbold, then Paul Mason and Archie Hine on row 12. Row 13 is John Svensson and Jack Kemp ahead of Mark de Rosario and Ben Palavoda. Laurent Ponsan and Stephen Bracegirdle make up row 15 ahead of Paul Barnes and Matt Payne. And the last 2 rows on the grid, Andrew Kluge and Eric Moulinet ahead of Sam Street and Ivor Mayers to pack out this mammoth 36 car grid of Formula Ford as we get set for action on the Grand Prix circuit. Lights out and we are racing. On board with McLennan, clean start when it appears. On board with Stephen Daly from 4th on the grid, already slotting in behind Josh Smith as they charge down towards Redgate corner for the first time. It's almost 4-5 abreast into the right-hander as Jack Wolfenden tries to go wheel-to-wheel with Luke Cooper. Out of Redgate, we're on board with Cooper now, chasing after Stephen Daly into Hollywood and then the Craner Curves. And look at the sight, look at this, 36 Formula Fords line astern through the Craner Curves. It's a wonderful sight with Rowe Jr. leading, Dempsey in second place, then Josh Smith and Stephen Daly. There's Neil McLennan in the 25. We go back on board with the Scotsman, chasing after his fellow Scott and fellow Cliff Dempsey driver, Jamie Thorburn. So out of Schwantz curve into the top of the hill at McLean's. Nose to tail action here with National Formula Fords, as it always is. There's Jamie Thorburn. We go on board with him now. Now we crest the rise and head into the blind apex of Coppice Corner. Look at this, a freight train of Formula Fords, fantastic to watch. There's Michael Eastwood chasing after Keith Donegan. This is on board with David MacArthur, brother of Tom. And it is almost side by side for the lead and for third place. Down the straight into the braking zone to the Fogarty S's. Not going straight on and turning right. They turn left, then right through the S's. And now it's the short straight down towards the awesome Melbourne Loop. 180-degree hairpin. Cooper's going for third place, almost banging wheels with Stephen Daly down towards the hairpin. And into they go, Rowe Jr. and Dempsey getting into it. And look at Josh Smith shooting up the inside, the pair of them. Fantastic opportunistic pass from Josh Smith. This is Rory Smith into the hairpin. Car in front getting a bit loose and contact. Oh, Rory Smith goes straight to the scene of the accident, and that, I'm afraid, is his race done and dusted straight away. Now, what this means is we get to see the Code 60. Now, what this means is instead of a safety car, it's been brought in by the BRSCC this season. It means every car has to slow down to 60 kilometres an hour and hold position. And now, when we get the green flags running, we're a couple of laps into the Code 60. Once the green flag flies, you're back to racing as if the safety car never happened. So Rowe Jr. extends his lead. It's still Dempsey in second place, but the fight is back on for third. It's now held by Josh Smith, and Luke Cooper has stolen 4th from Stephen Daly. They head down towards the Melbourne Loop again. You can see that Josh Smith's getting defensive. He wants to hold the inside line, but that may compromise his exit. He locks up going into the loop. That's left the door wide open, and he's vulnerable from attack from Luke Cooper. They go side by side on the exit. It's Furman Shatty versus Swift Cooper, and the Furman's one out for the moment. Cooper takes the slightly wider racing line into Goddard's. This is now on board back with David MacArthur into the hairpin. He's got 2 cars battling in front. That's Eastwell and another car in the mix. Oops, contact! MacArthur gets dumped out onto the exit of Goddard's corner. He's out of the race, and because of that, it's the Code 60 flag again, unfortunately. So that's the second time we've had it called. So Rowe Jr. holds the pace ahead of what looks to be, I think that's possibly Luke Williams. Now, what's happened to Jordan Dempsey? There's Josh Fisher and Luke Cooper, Josh Smith, and there's Jordan Dempsey in the gravel trap there at the bottom of the screen. So green flag flies here at Donington Park again, but Jordan Dempsey out of the race, and we understand it was a left front suspension failure down at the old hairpin. And that's the worst possible place you want it to happen, particularly at high speed coming through the Craner Curves. So Rowe Jr. currently leads. We're on board with Luke Cooper. He's chasing after Luke Williams in third position. And now we see in front of them is Josh Fisher. Now, Josh is only contesting in the Triple Crown of races. That's a series of races within the National Championship, which encompasses Brands Hatch, Donington Park and Silverstone on the national circuit. And Josh is only contesting the Triple Crown, so he's only here for 3 meetings this season and doing rather well up against the regular national contenders. He's actually defending second place now from Luke Williams into the hairpin. turn their way through, looking very close indeed. I think we're on the final lap of the race, so if that's the case, it's going to be now or never up towards the hairpin for the final time. Williams looking to the inside. He has to have one more last-ditch attempt into Goddard's, but I think it won't work, as out of the final corner, he won the first race in Kirkistown, and now James Rowe Jr. will do the same in Donington Park. James Rowe Jr. punches the air as he wins race 1 on the Grand Prix circuit. Absolutely delighted with that performance, and he wins by 1.2 seconds from Josh Fisher in second place. Luke Williams in third, ahead of Luke Cooper and Josh Smith. Stephen Daly sixth, then Jamie Thorburn, Neil McLennan, Ross Martin and Jack Wolford, and rounding out the top 10. Keith Donegan 11th. Ahead of Michael Eastwell and Sebastian Melrose and Felix Fisher, Thomas Capazone and Vincent J, David Cobbold, Paul Mason, Ben Palavoda and Jack Kemp. And at the 21st downwards, it's De Rosario, Potsant, Bracegirdle, Barnes, Scott Murphy, Payne, Moulin, Street, Cluj and Ivan Mares. Ivan Mares the last car home, and the 6 retirements, including Jordan Dempsey, started on the front row. An awesome way to start the weekend at Donington Park. Anthony has the top 3 on the podium in the paddock.
Josh, what a frantic race. Started 10th, finished second. Well done.
Yeah, it's good. Qualifying didn't quite go as I'd liked. Would have liked to have been a bit higher up, but it was just a cracking Formula Ford 1600 race, and yeah, done some good moves to get up to second.
Yeah, there's 36 cars in the grid. There's just Formula Fords everywhere you look.
Yeah, it's yeah, when you've got a full grid like this at a nice circuit, it equals good racing. It was, I think, all the way through the field there was just overtaking and a bit of carnage as well. But like I said, that's Formula Ford.
Yes, well, it's your first podium in the Britcover National Formula Ford Championship, so congratulations.
Lovely, thank you very much.
Well, Luke, frantic first race, but third place overall. Congratulations.
Yeah, very good first race. Yeah, we started 9th, bad qualifying, had a misfire, made I think 6 positions into the 2 hairpins on the first lap, and sort of rode from there. We got up to second, but code 60 did me. Not that we're going to talk about that. But yeah, I got jumped on the second restart on the code 16. Managed to finish third, which is good enough. We sort of beat the other people that are battling for the championship with us, so that was decent, good.
And it extends your lead at the top.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Keep ahead of Neil this weekend was the plan. Keep ahead of Neil and Thorburn. Although James Rowe did manage to close in on us, but that's okay. Second race to come.
Yeah, certainly is. Well, can't wait to see that. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
The cars are already forming up on the grid for the second race of the weekend here at Donington Park, with James Rowe Jr. on pole again, this time joined by Josh Fisher on the front row. Luke Williams and Luke Cooper on row 2, ahead of Josh Smith, Stephen Daly, Jamie Thorburn and Neil McLennan, with Ross Marsden and Jack Wolford completing the top 10. Keith Donegan and Michael Eastwell are on row 6, ahead of Sebastian Melrose and Felix Fisher, with Thomas Capazone and Vincent J on row 8. David Cobbold and Paul Mason take up row 9, ahead of Ben Palavoda and Jack Kemp. Mark De Rosario and Lawrence Potsant on row 11, ahead of Stephen Bracegirdle and Paul Barnes. James Scott Murphy has to start from 25th on the grid alongside Matt Payne, Eric Moulin and Sam Street, ahead of Andrew Cluj and Ivan Mares. Jordan Dempsey back in 31st, but a lot of work to do after his race 1 retirement. And Archie Hine, David MacArthur, John Ferguson and Rory Smith, the lone starter on row 18. No John Svensson, he blew his engine before race 1. So 15 minutes, 35 cars, and that's who you can win this time out in race number 2 at Donington Park. Lights are up as we get ready for the start. There's some creeping, including the front row men. Both Rowe Jr. and Fisher left the line before the lights went out. They go out now as we go on board with Neil McLennan down towards Redgate for the first time. Now Rowe Jr. leads, Fisher in second place, but will they be investigated by the stewards? We'll have to wait and see. Into Redgate for the first time. There's Stephen Daly and Luke Cooper. Neil McLennan going a bit wide on the exit of the corner. We're with him now, which is behind Josh Smith. And that's Ross Martin going up the inside, taking full advantage of the Scotsman running wide. Back through the craner curves on the opening lap. Wonderful sight to see so many Formula Fords piling their way down to the old hairpin. Aboard with Jamie Thorburn right into the right hander. That's Sebastian Melrose running wide onto the green stuff, onto the grass. Look for the track, Sebastian. There it is. It's the grey stuff in front of you. Up towards McLean's for the first time. Now there's Luke Cooper at the front of this 4-car train. He's got Josh Smith, Ross Martin and Neil McLennan all in the mix, and they are all over each other down towards Coppice Corner. On board with McLennan, up to the top of the crest, round the right-hander at Coppice Corner. And Dempsey at the back of that queue as they turn their way onto the back straight. Here's Ross Martin. He's chasing the 0 of Josh Smith down the back straight as the leaders are battling for track position. It's Josh Fisher looking to the outside of James Rowe Jr. Williams in 3rd, Daly in 4th, and then this man Luke Cooper in 5th position, holding on for dear life. Back up the gears again, out of Fogarty S's, down towards the hairpin. Here comes the fantastic 4 for the lead. Rowe Jr. holds the inside line. Fisher toe-to-toe with Williams on the exit of the corner as they try to go wheel to wheel. Daly now coming up the inside again, as now here comes Williams up the inside of Fisher for second place. Daly will try to go with him under brakes. Into Goddard's, there's a lunge from Daly up the inside of Williams. Oh, careful, they came to blows at Brands Hatch, but this time they avoid it. No major dramas, and they get out the other side unscathed. It's down the pit straight. Road Junior leads for Williams, Daly, and then for Fisher. Some fantastic racing so far, and don't worry, there's more to come after the break, so stay tuned, we'll be back in 2. Back at Donington Park for the Britcover National Formula Ford Championship, and during the break we received some very substantial news. Both James Rowe Jr. and Josh Fisher have been slapped with 10-second time penalties for starting out of position. Now that will be for the creeping they did at the start of the race before the lights went out. So while Rowe Jr. may lead the race on the road, he won't be there in the result if it stays as it is. Now with Stephen Daly, third on the road, down the back straight. They're all slowing up. He puts his hand at the cockpit. Oh, and there's contact! There's a slow car on the racing line, but Daly comes to blows with Josh Fisher. They're both waving at each other, but what on earth happened there? That was a major miscommunication between the pair of them as the Co 60 comes back out. Now I suspect they were slowing up to try and accommodate the slower car on the racing line. Daly slowed up, Fisher didn't see the flags, and contact was made, and they're both out of the race as a result. Rowe Jr. still leads, of course, on the road as the green flags come back out again, and we're about to start the last lap here in race 2 of the Grand Prix circuit at Donington Park. Out of Goddard's onto the pit straight. We're on board with Neil McLennan, now with Luke Cooper in 4th place. You can sniff a podium here as they come down towards Redgate Corner for the final time. Williams to the outside of Rowe Jr. Now Rowe Jr. leads on the road, but he won't stay there in the result if it carries on as it is. Out of the right-hander, here comes Cooper, crawling up the inside of Neil McLennan. He's putting himself alongside through Hollywood. Side by side into the crater curve, so if we can pull this off. It's a bold pass from Cooper. They're still side by side up towards the right hand of the old hairpin. Cooper turns in and he's done it. Great pass from a number 6 of Luke Cooper, displacing Neil McLennan. But the thing is, if it stays as it is, McLennan will still be on the podium. He'll finish 3rd and Cooper will be 2nd. So whilst Rowe Jr. currently leads on the track, the leader is number 95, the car right behind him, Luke Williams, because of that 10-second penalty to the number 2. Up through Coppice for the final time. There is your race leader in the timings, Luke Williams. Out of Coppice, onto the back straight for the final time. Here's McLennan, chasing after Luke Cooper for what he thinks is the final podium spot, but as they come down towards the Fogarty S's, Williams again trying to make an attack on what he thinks is the lead. The Fogarty S's kicking up the dust as they charge through down the back straight towards the Melbourne Loop for the final time. One more time into the hairpin with feeling. Rowe Jr. having to defend on the inside line for Williams. He tried an outside attack, but there was no avenue to get through. Now here comes Thorburn in 5th position on the track, charging behind McLennan. His teammates going to the outside of Luke Cooper. Into the hairpin for the final time. Side by side, bit of a nudge between Cooper and Williams, but it hasn't misplaced any of them. Up towards the checkered flag. Rowe Jr. will win the race on the track, but the win on the timings goes to Luke Williams. It's 2nd place for Luke Cooper and 3rd for Neil McLennan. Then 4th place to Jamie Thorburn, 5th for Keith Donegan, 6th for James Scott Murphy, 7th for Felix Fisher. Jordan Dempsey 8th after starting 31st on the grid. What a drive. James Rowe Jr. down to 9th, and Ross Martin completes the top 10. Then Paul Mason, David MacArthur, then Eastwell, Capazone, Melrose Smith, Hine, Cobbold, De Rosario and Bracegirth completes the top 20. Ahead of Barnes, Roulinet, Potsand, Sam Street, Andrew Kluge and Ivor Mares. Look at the attrition rate, 9 cars out of the race. A very eventful second race here at Donington Park, but fast and frantic and enjoyable nonetheless. That was an awesome spectacle, and here's the top 3 on the podium with Anthony in the paddock.
Well, Neil, we won't talk about the first race, but a podium after all that. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Yeah, first race didn't go to plan really, but you get them. Today, great start. Got up a good few places there after the first 2 laps, so absolutely delighted with the outcome. Good load of points again. Car couldn't have got any better. No, team did great setup, so absolutely delighted.
And moving into the 3rd race, Luke Williams has jumped you in a championship so far, so you need to get some decent points in this last race. Yeah,
Luke's getting a good bit now of me on the championship, so we need to get some good points back in the bag. But no, it's still a long way yet, as I say. So we'll definitely keep pushing and just make sure we get good points and come home in one piece, and so does the car.
Well done.
Thank you very much, thank you.
Well, Luke, what a race. Were you aware of James's 10-second penalty before the end?
I wasn't aware, no. It was a great race, and I was doing everything that I could to get myself up as far as possible, and obviously when he got the 10-second penalty, that bumped me up another place, which I was happy with.
Fourth in the first race, so a real good haul of points this weekend so far. What are you expecting from race 3?
Yeah, so far, starting 7th for the next race is going to make it quite difficult, especially with some quick people right behind me as well that are going to be trying to get past as well. So it's going to be difficult to make progress while trying to keep them behind as well. But if I could get a top 5 out of it, that'd be end the weekend with a really good point. So,
well, good luck.
Thank you very much.
It's time for the final race of the weekend at Donington Park, and incredibly Jordan Dempsey wins the reverse grid pole alongside Felix Fisher in second place. James Scott Murphy and Keith Donegan on row 2 ahead of Jamie Thorburn, Neil McLennan, Luke Cooper and Luke Williams. James Rowe Jr. back in 9th alongside Ross Martin in 10th. Then Paul Mason and David MacArthur, Michael Eastwell and Thomas Capazone, Sebastian Melrose and Rory Smith. Archie Hine and David Cobbold on row 9 ahead of Mark de Rosario and Stephen Bracegirdle, Paul Barnes and Eric Moulinet ahead of Laurent Ponsan and Sam Street on row 12. Row 13 sees Andrew Kluge alongside Ivor Mayers with Ben Palavoda and the first of the major front runners Josh Smith, then Jack Kemp and Stephen Daly back in 30th, Josh Fisher and John Ferguson back on row 16, then Vincent J and Matt Payne, and Jack Wolfenden starts at the back of the grid after being excluded from race 2. So for the final time at Donington Park, lights up for 15 minutes, lights out, and we are racing once again. Good start from Dempsey, better start from Fisher though. Felix Fisher in the black car from the front row of the grid, his heads down towards Redgate Corner. We ride on board with Thorburn down towards the first turn, into the right-hander. Thorburn in between Cooper and James Scott Murphy, but I think in the lead it will be Felix Fisher in the black car. Heading down towards Craner Curves, and yes it is. Fisher in the lead. Now for second place, Keith Donegan. What a start for Keith. He started up in 4th on the grid, up to 2nd already, into the old hairpin. Dempsey in 3rd, McLennan in 4th position. I think James Scott Murphy is holding station in 5th. Here's Keith Donegan, the young Irishman, already going for the lead now. Up the inside of Felix Fisher, up towards Schwantz Curve. Side by side in the run to McLean's. Here comes McLennan up the outside as well. Looking for second place, round the outside. That is an audacious move from Neil McLennan. What a move from the Scottish champion. Neil McLennan with a very classy outside pass at McLean's. Goodness me. Round through Coppice Corner for the first time. Dempsey on the inside, defending from James Scott Murphy and also Jamie Thorburn. Here's Stephen Daly, starting back in the field down in 30th position, working his way through the field now. Down the back straight, up through the gears. There's cars all around him down on the brakes as we head back towards the hairpin. Side by side between Scott Murphy and through Jamie Thorburn. Side by side, they almost bang wheels. It's now McLennan in the lead of the race. Gone in second place. Oops, there's a bit of a forceful bit of driving there from Jamie Thorburn. It was a bit overzealous there from the young Scotsman. And now Cooper goes round the outside and takes full advantage of the mistake from James Scott Murphy getting held up. Here comes Cooper. He's at it again, you know. He did this to Neil McLennan in the second race. Now he's side by side again through the Craner Curves with his teammate Jamie Thorburn. He's up the inside again, surely not for the second time. Well, no, Jamie Thorburn holds the inside line and says, you try that with Neil, but it ain't going to happen this time, Sunshine. The Cooper says, oh yeah, try this on for size. Round the outside at Schwantz Curve. Has he got it done? Thorburns looking across to the right, and he has got it done. Cooper does it again into McLean's corner. James Scott Murphy goes through and takes another place. Up the inside now we'll look for Ross Martin. Thorburn back on the attack up towards Coppice Corner. He's not done yet. Round the outside. Oh, bit of a twitch for Scott Murphy, puts the wheel onto the grass, but an awesome piece of car control keeps him in front. How on earth did he save that one? Down towards the chicane for the umpteenth time. It's still McLennan that leads, but Donegan in second place and Williams in third. Scott Murphy still battling away hard with Jamie Thorburn out of the front of the S's. Side by side again, almost touching wheels down towards the Melbourne Loop. This is fantastic racing. He's now got Martin to his outside. Look at James Rowe Jr. in the mix as well. Oh, and contact! Oh, James Rowe Jr. hits the back of James Scott Murphy, and Rowe Jr. is absolutely livid with himself. He cannot believe he's made such a clumsy mistake into the hairpin. Luke Cooper, meanwhile, carries on. He can see the top two in front of him here for second and third. Down the pit straight, up towards Redgate Corner. But that is Rowe Jr.'s weekend's gone from bad to worse. He won the first race, was given a 10-second penalty in the second. As we fast forward now into the latter stages of the race, we see McLennan now is under threat from Keith Donegan. He's dropped Luke Williams, and he's now right on the back of the 25 as they head out of Redgate Corner and on to the run through Hollywood, through the Craner Curves for another time. And the pair of them really have dropped the battle of the third position, headed by Luke Williams. He's got Luke Cooper and Jamie Thorburn in the mix, and also Stephen Daly in the background is heading the train for 6th place also. Here's Neil McLennan. This is the perfect view for him. Completely clear track in front. His mirrors will be full of the white number 30 behind, Keith Donegan. Had a fantastic showing in the final race at Kirkistown. Also made an appearance at the rounds prior at Knockhill. So very competent young talent is Keith. There he is, number 30. And keeping McLennan honest here. This is Scotland versus Ireland here. So far Scotland has the advantage. But don't count out the Irish. Of course, Nell Murray was the national champion last year, comes from Ireland. Very talented Irish drivers in the field. Also very talented Scots, including Jamie Thorburn. Under brakes, he starts to try and challenge both Luke Williams and Luke Cooper. They're all over each other through the Fogarty S's. They head down towards the hairpin for what I think is the final time. Then McLennan turns his way through the Melbourne Loop, still with Keith Donegan in hot pursuit on the exit. Up towards the hairpin, up at Goddard's. Still clear track for McLennan into the left-hander. Looks as though he's got this one pretty much wrapped up, and after a very tricky weekend, he's about to end it on a high. Up towards the checkered flag. Neil McLennan completes the weekend at Donington with a victory in race number 3. A superb effort for the young Scotsman. Another win in the season. I think that's his 4th this year. It is Donegan in 2nd place, and I think Williams just held on for 3rd. But what a weekend for Neil McLennan. He wins. It's Donegan 2nd, Dempsey in 3rd place from Cooper, Thorburn, Martin, Luke Williams down to 7th. Eastwell, Capazone and Stephen Daly completing the top 10. Fastest lap of the race goes to that man, Keith Donegan. Then Melrose 11th from James Scott Murphy 12th. Then Smith, Wolfenden, Fisher, Cobbold, Jay, Mason, Kemp and Ponsan round out the top 20. Then Street, Milne, Overmares, Mark de Rosario, Andrew Clues. 25 cars finished the race. 10 retirements, including James Rowe Jr., Josh Fisher and David MacArthur, and also John Ferguson and Josh Smith again. An amazing weekend at Donington Park, and for the final time, Anthony has the top 3 in the paddock, including winner Neil McLennan.
Neil, start 6th and got into the lead on the first lap. I bet you're glad you got out of the way early.
Yeah, absolutely delighted. Got a great start. Had a wee bit of a T-bone from behind at the first corner, but no, we luckily got away from that. But yeah, got into the lead by the time we got out the first chicane and just kind of kept the head down and went. But no, well done to Keith. He had a very, very hard race behind him there, and he managed to keep 2nd. So no, well done to him too. But no, it's been a great weekend. Yesterday was a bit of one of those races where we struggled a lot, and we struggled qualifying as well. But you get that kind of days as well. So no, the way it's turned out, absolutely delighted. Can't thank the team enough.
Sadly, that brings us a close to a fantastic weekend's racing here at Donington Park for the Britcover BRSCC National Formula Ford Championship. Please join us next time when the action comes from Castle Combe.